With every piece of content that you write, the foundation of all that you do with SEO evolves around keyword research. You should always do keyword research ahead of time when you're doing content. A great tool you can use is Google Keyword Planner. Google Keyword Planner is primarily, it's designed for paid advertising, that's why they have it, but you can still get a lot of benefit from it for your SEO purposes. So if you just do a Google search for Keyword Planner, it should come up. It's a free tool if you have a Google account. So if you have Gmail or use any of Google's services, then you get it for free. So I'll just go to it. And again, I'm logged into my account already, so I don't need to log in. But it starts off, you are asked to input a keyword, and you can do different targeting, such as by location, etc., but I won't worry about that too much for this video. So let's just type in SEO, hit Get Ideas, and you want to hit the Keyword Ideas tab. So what this tool does is it takes whatever search term that you inputted, and Google will actually tell you how many searches per month people use for that search term. And this is incredibly valuable information that they're providing. And what they'll even do further is they are really good at finding synonyms for whatever search term you used. So SEO, they'll know the different what SEO means, etc. But they'll also find search terms that have SEO in it that are 2, 3, 4 words, what we like to call the long tail searches. So SEO company, SEO service, SEO marketing. So if I was designing a website about SEO, I could just do this simple search and find all kinds of potential page opportunities. I could write a page about SEO tools. I could write a page about SEO software. I could write about cheap SEO solutions. I could talk about local SEO, SEO copywriting, SEO link building, on and on and on. All of these just from a simple search. Like if I didn't think of these already, just a simple search could give me tons and tons of potential page opportunities. If you wanted to, you could even click on this add to plan and export some of these keyword tools to get information on it later. So if you wanted to create a content plan, which I'll cover in another video, you could just go down the list, hit add to plan on any terms that you feel you would like to write a page about. And of course, you don't have to just do one search. You can obviously go back up here, do SEO company, get ideas. If you were thinking about writing a page about an SEO company, so it gives you that term, and then best SEO company, UK SEO company, and you don't even have to just do one term. You could do multiple search terms, SEO. You could type in multiple search terms here and get an idea of how much search traffic each one of these gets. So SEO content, SEO local. Now, every time you build a page, like I said, you want to do a little bit of keyword research because there's absolutely no reason to build a page about an SEO term or a search term that is getting no search traffic whatsoever. If you do a search and let me just put in just a crazy search term. So as you can see, no one is searching for the search term. So it doesn't make sense to build a page about it unless, for example, you have some insider knowledge where you're going to realize you already know that this search term, even though it's not getting searches now, it's going to get millions later. You can. But for the most part, if something isn't getting searched for, then why bother building a page about it? A good rule of thumb that I like to use is if it's not getting at least 100 on the monthly searches, then it's not really worth your time to build a page about it. On the other end, you may not want to write a page about something that's really, really broad. So for example, SEO, it gets 673,000 searches a month. Yes, and I'm sure you would love to rank #1 in Google for SEO, but the truth is it's a highly competitive term. So just because a search term gets tons and tons of volume doesn't necessarily mean that you should write a page about it or design a site about it, because you don't want to compete where all the big fish are. You have to find a little bit of a balance. So if I were creating a website, I may not do a general SEO. I might want to build a website that's more specialized, such as SEO software or one piece of SEO. Or if I'm trying to build out a new page, I might want to do a page on something that's a little bit less competitive. And Google actually gives you competition, but this number basically comes from how many advertisers are competing with it. So it's not exactly right with SEO, but it can give you a general idea of how competitive a search term is. Another great example of when to use this tool is when you're trying to determine how to phrase something. So you might be able to phrase a word one way and phrase it another way, and there could be dramatic differences in how much search traffic it gets. So a good example of this that I know is a healthcare term. Some people like to call it orthopedic. I'll do orthopedics. And some people like to call it orthopedics. It's commonly used by doctors in both ways. So let's do a search on this. Let's say I'm trying to build a page about orthopedics or orthopedics. And I should remind you again, these mean exactly the same thing. They're just spelled and pronounced differently. So as you can see here, orthopedics gets 27,000 searches a month. Orthopedics gets searched 9,900 times. Again, these are the exact same thing. But as you can see, 3 times as many people are searching for this pronunciation, this spelling of the search term. So this simple little search can give you potentially 3 times as much traffic just because of the way you spelled it. So little things like that are great to do with this keyword tool. If you have a page and you have a general idea of what you want the page to be about, try a different variations of the keyword phrase and see what gets the most search volume and still has a comparable competition. Just again, taking 5-10 seconds to bookmark this URL, pop in, enter a few keywords, and see what kind of demand there is. It doesn't take that much effort, but it could potentially have huge impact on your pages. I mean, if you're going to spend an hour or 2 hours or whatever writing a piece of content, you owe it to yourself to spend that extra few seconds to do a little bit of keyword research ahead of time so you're getting the most potential SEO benefit from it. So I hope you found this video useful. Google Keyword Planner is an absolute must for a good SEO person. I like it. Keyword research is extremely important. I like it because the data is coming from Google itself. There are a lot of keyword tools out there that come up with really strange ways that they come up with their numbers. But with Google, you're most likely getting some pretty legitimate numbers when they provide it throughout this tool. So with keyword research, Google Keyword Planner is always my go-to first tool that I like to use, and I highly encourage you to do the same.